Apologize.
How do you think I'm gonna get along without you when I'm gone?
I'm so glad I'm recording this, by the way.
No, stop me. Oh, God.
Okie dokie. Hello, welcome back to the non-stream. This is a recorded version of the Cthulhu Crew, who like to enjoy the wonderful, fantastical worlds of Call of Cthulhu. We are currently playing through a little mini campaign that Jared, our lovely Jared of Light, is creating for us, taking us through. I'm playing Ophelia Cordova. My name is Nadine, and I am from Perth, Western Australia. Well, technically, I live there. Now it's not frozen, but it was frozen. Fantastic. But we're all good now. So, Jared, take it away. Who are you, and who are you playing, and what you doing?
I'm Jared of Light, the keeper of secrets for this game, so I'm going to be running you guys through this terrifying adventure as it gets to some really chilling stuff in this scenario. In this session in particular, I'm really excited. Him, so excited to see what's happening.
Woohoo! Over to Phoebe.
Okay, hi, I'm Phoebe. I'll be playing Everett Grimm today. I personally use they, them pronouns. Everett uses him pronouns. And I am based in the northeastern US.
Cool beans. Over to you, Fab.
Hi, I'm Fab. I'm from Berlin, Germany. He, him pronouns. And I'll be playing Dr. Tobias Beck again.
That's a good thing you're playing the same character again.
Amazing.
Also,
So-
he, him pronouns.
Fabulous. Jared, you want to take us on a little journey back to where the heck we were last session?
So we start this adventure as we did with everyone already knowing each other in some regard, professional or outside of their work. Weird stuff was happening in the town of Arkham. We had Dr. Tobias Beck noticing an increased cases of coma patients in his practice being carted off to the hospital. We had a zoom in on one of his patients going a bit lucid and very confused as to what was happening before passing out in his bed and seemingly going into a deep slumber. We turned over to Everett, who was looking in the library collections and found a few pieces that were very concerning as they had pictures of Everett in them, and that was mildly disturbing. And Ophelia started this investigation by hearing about the missing person of David Keating. So David Keating is currently missing, and the investigators have been doing their best to bring the information together and find out what has happened to him. So far, their investigation has led them to a lady called Olga Giannopoulos, and she is the sort of centerpiece of this. David was last seen with her, the two of them spent a lot of time together, and he sort of had a bit of a flip in his personality since meeting her. He bought a lot of her art pieces, and from what the investigators have found is that he was actually throwing a lot of money her way as well.
That's him now.
Yeah, he's at the door. Oh, smooth. I just lost my train of thought. Oh my god.
Sorry, that was my bad.
No. Like the bell got me. I was like, what the? We're not expecting anyone. But yeah. So what was I saying? Missing person. So the missing person is now like they're trying to find where the leads are going. David and Olga tended to spend a lot of their time at a local speakeasy called the Sailors Club. So the party eventually made their way over there, but before they did, they found that the art pieces that David was holding, that he bought off of Olga, were some very disturbing pictures indeed that told of some occult-like rituals linked to a thing known as the Sylvan Night. Sorry, 1 second.
It is 100%.
Hold on for 1 second, because it's belling again, and it shouldn't.
This is the moment where we plug ourselves, I would say. I am an amazing voice actor. I can't even take it seriously. Guys, what have you been up to this weekend? What did you do on this weekend? I'm not looking at the camera. I should be looking at the camera. Guys, what did you do this weekend? You guys.
It was us the humans,
Mm-hmm.
or the audience, the imagined audience.
I mean, are we not one and the same?
Bit of an emergency kicked up there. All good.
No worries.
all fixed now.
Let me try to
We will know about your weekend at some point. I promise. Continue on, Jared.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
So,
David or Andrew? I'm confused on the names. Yeah.
oh, sorry, it was Andrew. There's another David in this.
One
image.
thing I have right here.
Andrew Keatlin. Sorry, I run too many adventures and names do not work for me. The party then took the information and started branching out to see what they could find out about this Silver Knight and Olga in particular. It led them to the police station where they met Patrick Devlin, the Irish-born, French-speaking detective who Everett passed over a book of French occultism, to which he started freaking out when he read things that were very disturbing indeed. From there, they found that he was actually there on the raid of the Silver Knight, which Olga was the headpiece figure, and a lot of the people there died in very weird circumstances. There was a raid, people got injured, a lot of people died, and Patrick had a massive bite mark on his shoulder. The doctor looked over it to see that the teeth were wrong, the molars and canines were switched, and he decided to go to the local asylum to speak to this cultist. Through good work of his friend Professor Alex Arden and hypnotism, the two of them were able to discover that this man was very crazy indeed, as he started speaking in Greek, and through hypnotism told him that someone from the dreams, that time is bending, and it's all linking to Olga in a very creepy voice, before he bit onto the doctor's ear and started really doing some damage.
Yikes.
Party then comes together with all their pieces of information and heads to the Sailors Club, where as they start greasing the wheels of a lot of the people there, they eventually meet the big boss himself, the man who owns the Sailors Club, Zeke the Geek Carter. Mr. Carter, to the right kinds of people, as he was quick to remind Ophelia. He's a very weird man. He moves wrong. He's just sitting there with his book of Greek, and he just gives off a very weird persona. But what he promised to the investigators, if I remember correctly, was the sum of about $2,000 to find Olga, as she had stolen something from him. He mentioned it as a little orb, this big, and that it was his property that he wanted back. Before the party even agreed to it, he said, "Now get out of my office and go find her." He said that he gave the party a few clues as to where she might be, and now the party is outside the speakeasy. Ophelia looks over and sees an individual that's been following her for the last few hours of the night. A strange man in a locked up brown suit, but on closer inspection, his features are multicolored, and he has a massive grin of teeth. And he's been waving ever since. And the scary thing about this man is that he has no feet, because just below the kneecaps, just at the shins, it fades into nothing. And as he takes off his hat with a cigar in his mouth, he goes, and that is where we pick up the session, as the party is far enough away from the speakeasy. The last moment we noticed was that Ophelia recognized that Zeke had too many ribs in his ribcage.
Yeah.
And that's when the smiling man started smiling. So we start this session off with a bang. I need everybody to roll me a sanity check.
I would love to.
I'm so scared.
Which one am I rolling again? The green or the black?
The green.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
No, we
Mhm.
all failed.
Hey, we all did really poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that's not good. If this is high enough, that means all of you... We might actually go to the summary rules for sanity. Oh, I'm excited.
We
I'm
all
afraid.
die
I'm
immediately at the beginning of
So-
session 2.
We all just immediately suffer heart attacks, like
Exactly.
in synchronization, and we're all
Oh
down.
my gosh. Stop it.
4 points of sanity damage.
4?
Not 5. 4.
That's fine.
No, it's not. I am 2
Still
points
sane.
away from being insane.
Me too.
Well, I think it's fine for me.
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm doing.
That's the
I'm
first damage you've
You
taken.
asshole.
chilling.
It sucks for you guys and everything, but I'm good.
Okay. Which?
You guys are visibly shaken by this. This thing should not exist, and yet it is standing there, waving at you. Barely 10 feet away, just standing there. For the first time, it's not walking back into the shadows, it's not going into a side alley as you first saw it, it's just standing there, right in front of you.
And how far away is it?
10 feet, so
Ooh,
2 to
that
3
is
meters.
Far too close.
Yeah, that's extremely close. I hate that.
Okay, I think I'm immediately gonna wheel around and see if there are any like cars, taxis, anything to just get away from this hell thing.
Sure. Roll me a spot hidden check.
Spot hidden. I succeed with 69.
Hell yeah. Looking around with the sexiest number possible. You, because you walked away from you chose at the end of the last session to walk away from the speakeasy, and you were trying to actually avoid crowds because you didn't want to be near the influence of Zeke the Geek. There are a few cars, but they're pretty far away, and they're in the opposite direction. Like, you actually walked away from the establishment to sort of get a word in, then maybe go back again.
Yeah, I'm gonna start pulling the both of them and just kind of running as fast as one can in heels, which I'm sure I would be wearing. And I don't know, actually. I don't know whether I would look over my shoulder. No, I think I'm just gonna. It's one of those in the middle of the night trying to get up the stairs before the demon behind you eats you in the dark. That's the kind of pelting it that I'm doing.
Everybody roll me a strength check to sort of use your legs to run through, because this is not perfect soil. It's a little damp out here.
Yeah, okay. Oh dear.
Totally.
Oh goodness.
Doctor, no.
Running. All of you fall and stumble. It's not like a massive fall into like the ground or the dirt or the mud. It's just a bit of a stumble. You look forward, and about 20 feet away.
Sorry, I look
And he
forward,
bows.
as in
Yeah.
the way that I was running, or the
You
behind
turn
me?
around, he's not there. You look in front of you, he's right there now.
Okay.
And he goes, and he takes one step forward. But when he does a step forward, it's sort of like a,
No.
and he waits.
So I imagine whenever we initially started running away and Ophelia was kind of pulling the boys a little bit, Everett was still kind of trying to look back at this horrible, awful thing, which is like why he stumbled, because he wasn't paying attention to where he was running, and then he kind of stumbled and looked away from it for like a split second before looking forward, and that's where he saw it again, and it's just kind of like a bit frozen for a moment, and then the thing just like, you know, moves its way forward a touch.
So you saw it disappear as in it just went
Oh,
into
good.
the ground.
Great.
And then when you turned in front of you, you stumbled forward and looked up, and he was standing there.
Awesome. But I think Everett's move is just to kind of wave back in a weird way, just kind of, hello.
And he sort of goes,
Oh my god.
"Good evening." Good evening. And he does a big bow of that.
Everett bows back. It's not a graceful bow, but he just and he doesn't take his eyes off it. He just kind of, as much as he can while still looking at it, and just, I seem to have missed, the joke. What, is so funny?
There's always jokes. There's always laughter. There's always dreams.
Uh-huh. Oh, sure. Yeah. There sure is. I am Everett Grimm, a professor at the University of Arkham. May I ask who you are?
You see his face, the smile does this. Who am I? Who am I? I am a dream of my mistress's lover. You would call him Andrew. I would not call him that because I am not him.
What? We're looking for Andrew, the physical manifestation of Andrew, not a dream version. Is he alive or?
He lives.
Okay.
He dreams.
Okay.
He dreams of her
Uh-huh.
kissing, fucking. He dreams.
That's me laughing, not Ophelia. Ophelia is almost crying. I think, I don't know, I must want, can I like roll a constitution check to see if she would still be
Go
scared
for
or
it.
not?
Oh, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, she ain't saying shit right now. That's 99. Holy shit, she's not saying anything.
Yeah.
Just locked up, just like.
If anything, she may be cowering behind one of the guys.
And he just smiles again, and this time he's just sort of like looking at all of you, and one by one he just looks at all of you.
Can I ask why you've been following Ophelia?
Following? I'm not following anyone.
Oh.
You're following me.
I just. I really feel like we tried to run away from him.
You are searching. You're looking. What are you looking for?
I mean, Andrew originally, you kind of, but you know, well, okay, yeah, okay, that's fair.
You found him, but he is not I, and I am not he. There is more to this form than flesh and blood.
There is more to what is behind the eyes of dreams. The master is in the void and he's calling. He wants to be out of the void. Olga, she has heard the calling for many, many years. Andrew is new to it. He is not shaped by it. He is not molded by it yet. And so...
One.
I think.
Sorry, 1 second. All good.
I think at this point, Ophelia's gonna like squeeze. I think she's not looking. She's not looking at this thing. I think she's steadfast, eyes to the ground, really trying to hold it together. But she's gonna like grip Tobias's jacket really, really tight, and kind of just strain to get out the words. Ask him what Olga is. Again,
I
not
need to
looking
figure
at
out if I can get out a word.
That'd be, for that one would be more mental.
Power.
Yours would be a sanity. Oh, power, actually, no, it'd be power.
Hell yeah!
You're doing
Holy
great.
shit.
Hell yeah!
The psychologist training kicks in. You've had manic episodes before. This is just, your brain locks it down to, this is just a patient having the worst episode you've ever seen, and the doctor kicks up.
So, can you tell us where your mistress is?
That would be cheating. I don't want to give away. We don't.
Wait. Okay.
And he just sort of, like, he looks like, actually, everybody roll me a spot hidden check.
Sure, I will be able to see.
Spot hidden or psychology.
Oh, sorry, I did actually see.
Yeah. So for this,
We're sick.
with the spot hidden checks, you guys see that his form is shifting a little bit. Like his teeth aren't static. Like they actually
Wow.
change. Like he
Jared.
gets a bigger smile, he gets a smaller smile. It's weird. Like not sanity inducing because you've already taken the damage from that. But with the psychology roll, you can see that he's struggling to come to consensus. Like you've seen this many a time before with patients that struggle with multiple personalities. It looks like he's struggling. So what do you guys want to do? So this is just so exciting for me. I'm just like, haha.
I don't know.
I'm wondering if I can try to hypnotize a dream.
Oh my gosh.
Do you want to try?
Oh, Tobias is gonna die.
If this goes poorly.
We all did, and it would have been a great 2 sessions.
Yep. It sure would have been great.
Doctor is like the current persona that's like at the front. Extreme success is
Yeah.
doctors in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, then let's do it. I take a step further towards him.
Mm-hmm.
And how does he react? They? All of them?
Oh, that's bad.
Yo, no.
That's not what you want. That's not what you want from a
He doesn't
creepy
move.
dream.
He just
I'll go a little bit closer. I go into my pocket with a hand. I take out the watch. and I go, "Can you do me a favor and look at this watch?" And I started.
All right, roll me a
Does he look at the watch?
He starts looking at you, but you can't really tell if he's looking at the watch or not. But it looks like his face is moving.
Oh no!
97. It's not a fumble. It's not a fumble.
I'm
Do
very
you
happy
want to
that it's
push
not a
this
fumble.
roll? Do you want to push this roll?
Then I would have to hit an extreme, right? Or just a
Push.
hard?
Oh no, so push roll is just a re-roll. It would have to be a regular success again. But if you fail this time, then the hypnotism, because there's a few people in there, you might anger it. Like I tell you what the consequences are before you make the choice to re-roll. You can't spend luck on the push roll. But if you succeed, you'll get what you're looking for.
Okay, why not?
Oh, rip. Okay, we're doing it.
I'm excited.
Oh my god.
No!
No.
He goes,
That's not fun. That's not fun at all. I tell you what you should hear. No less. No more. If you come and find my...
you see his form starting to shift and change a bit more. The silhouette of the man is starting to like fade. Like he's not as much human anymore. You can see the grin getting bigger, and it's like something's changing, and he's getting angry as he does this. He says,
If you come for my girl, I will be forced. I will stop you.
he disappears.
I'm so stressed.
Olivia's like,
Yeah.
and he's gone. Like you look over, there is nothing there. He didn't even leave a trace. It was just straight into the ground, like as if like phasing right through the floor.
Okay.
What a start to a session.
Yeah.
I feel I should roll a constitution roll here.
Oh yeah, I think everyone should.
I don't throw up.
I barely.
My constitution is very poor.
Oh shit.
You got close, but you just see Everett being like, can't hold it together. Understandably so. For sanity.
No, I think he really somehow pushed through to have a conversation with it, and then just
You're like,
essentially, yes.
alrighty. So the night is very late. You have a few leads to work with still. You've got the woman in protective custody, Andrea, who the detective told you about. You still have a few other leads you could toss up with the other information you've got, but you decided, leading up to the Sailors Club, probably best not to go to Andrea's house at like midnight. Like, up to you guys. Do you want to distract her at midnight now? Has the schedule been pushed up a little, or do you want to sleep it off?
I don't think Ophelia's quite in the right mind to be interviewing anyone right now. I think.
How late in the night is it?
I remember you guys got to the club at around 10ish. So you hanged out having a few drinks for a while. You spoke to the detective in the Sailors Club, and then Zeke asked for you guys. So it's probably, like, with your watch, you can see it's probably close to midnight at this point.
Does anybody say anything?
Up to you guys. What do you?
I mean, I think after like vomiting, Everett would just kind of straighten up, kind of straighten up his jacket as well, and just be like, what this is nothing that science can't explain.
It's all smoke and mirrors. Fantastic. I just want to say, everyone roll me an idea check just quickly.
Oh lord.
Like, nothing bad, just intelligence. Yeah. Hey, right on the number.
Hard.
Hey. So, all of you are sort of thinking through your mind, like, let's get out of here. Like, the three of you at the same time have this thought of, let's just leave. Ophelia, you're the one who comes to your senses a bit more than this. Like, Everett's first, but then you sort of sharpen up to, this is not going to stop you getting to the bottom of your mystery. Like, there's a missing person here. That's the most important thing.
Okay.
Like,
I think in that case,
all
she'll
three of you.
tighten up her jacket, and we've already rung for the taxi, didn't we? That's why we were. Yeah. So I think Ophelia will kind of tighten up her jacket, chill in the air type way, and say, "We've learnt a lot, boys, today. I think it's about time we got home and slept this off. We have a lot to do tomorrow."
So the question upon you guys, are you going to your own houses and sleeping by yourselves?
So
No reason,
think-
just curious. Mostly given the shaken nature of what you just saw, like 4 points of sanity, that's big. Like, that is, you've just seen, like, you're a 12-year-old and you've just seen your first horror movie. Like, this is probably going to come back and, like, niggle at your mind for a while, kind of thing. So I leave that to you guys to decide.
I don't know, lady of the time, I think it would be very improper to go home with either man. I think also she'd also kind of look for the comfort of her dingy ass little office and probably scour over things, papers and such, kind of distracting her mind until she probably like just fell asleep on the desk or on the couch.
Okay. So the three of you get in the taxi and take back off to the city. One by one, each of you are dropped off.
Before we part ways, I write every one of the other one a prescription for whiskey.
Nice.
Because I can do that. I'm a doctor.
Take this
I can do whatever
medicinal
I want
alcohol.
with that. Exactly.
So before
Considering the night.
yeah, you could probably pass by like a 24-hour drugstore, get yourself a bottle of hooch or something, just to help the night a little bit. Oh, goody. So, one by one. First Ophelia, then the doctor. How about Everett? How's Everett trying to deal with what's happening?
I think he is still leaning very hard into science will somehow explain this. That's kind of his like coping mechanism through this. I think me as the player, I'm thinking, of course it's not safe to go to sleep. No. That would be absurd. This is, the god Hypnos, and this creepy ass creature is like, hi, I'm a dream. But Everett is like, no, that's complete and utter nonsense. This is the real world. Science will explain this somehow. Of course a dream can't come get me. It's just my brain having imaginings whilst I sleep. This is completely fine. I will go to bed and not have any issues. And then he lays in his bed and stares at the ceiling for about 4 hours before he can actually fall asleep.
Would you like to roll me a power check, Everett?
Sure.
Get wrecked, Everett. Your sanity will come now.
Yeah.
Oh, so close. You can always use your luck.
I could spend Would that just be a single point of luck?
Single point of luck to make it a success.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I haven't spent any luck yet. I'll spend 1 luck to succeed at that.
Good, smart move. That could have been bad if you failed.
Jeez.
And if you fumble, that's even worse. So, you're not out of the woods yet. Sleep comes to you because, and I know this for a fact, because you take so long to get to sleep, vivid dreams come to you. So vivid that you're actually there and it sort of happens for you and you're recounting it as it's happening, sort of thing. You see architecture is rushing at you. It's not solid, it's just moving all around the place. And it's not one structure. It's the university, the cafe, a random car, like all these places you've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start hearing whispers. You see a city that is filled with people asleep. And you see a couple of people standing there, looking up against the walls, mumbling. Mumbling really fast. You can't see their faces because they're like backed up against the wall, but you can hear this present noise. And you're sort of walking through this town. Now, best way I can describe this is like bad movies, but still good for visual flair. The Resident Evil movies. That whole Raccoon City, like almost like zombie apocalypse style. Like clearly there's a bin fire over there. A couple of cars have crashed. And there's just all these people on the street. And like they look peaceful. They're just sleeping. They're not dead. They're actually, you can see they're breathing. They're just like... But there's just a few of these people, like you count about 2 of them, 3 of them, just up against the walls. Just... What would you like to do?
That sure is a question. What would I like to do?
Now, this is sort of like one of those things where this is kind of autopilot for Everett as well, because although you might not know it, this is a dream.
Right.
So like think what subconscious Everett would be doing in a situation.
I think...
Don't think about it too much.
I feel like I'm probably overthinking it. I don't know, I think you would just go up to the mumbling people and try to like talk to them.
Okay. Fun times. So you touch one of them and they sort of just fall to the ground. Like they just go flop. It's one of those old ragdoll things of just flop. And their face is looking towards you now. You recognize that they don't have a mouth. And yet they're somehow mumbling all these noises. They're just looking and their eyes like shifting all over the place. And as you touch one, another one falls, another one falls, another one falls. And the city kind of fades away from you. Everything is dark, and yet somehow you can see, like you know, that there is something in that shadow. There is a dark silhouette in that shadow.
Oh.
But it's not huge. It's like it's the size of a man. Like nothing strange to the extremities. It's just a man. And he doesn't look to be standing. He looks to be sitting almost. He's just at the edge of your periphery. What do you think Everett would do?
I think at this point he's just running away.
Okay. Roll me a listen check.
Yes.
Oh, I can't believe I succeeded that well. Awesome.
Nice.
Oh, that might not be a good thing.
Whether it's your imagination, or not, you swear that you heard a very like regular voice. No mumbling, no weirdness, no eldritch abominations at all. You just heard a regular ass voice shouting out, "Help!"
Great.
Cool.
Awesome.
What do you want to do? Yeah, to be fair, you can keep running. Like, that's an option.
I think he would kind of, while he was, no, I mean, I guess he would stop and look back.
Mm-hmm.
But like if he, I think he would like stop, look back, and just go, "What?"
An echoing wave. You just hear the word sort of reverberating and echoing through this, almost like a chamber. And it's the same word. It's just said over and over, hell, and just hits you, and you're just like, what the hell? And you shout out what? It just goes, hell. It just echoes more and more and more. And the silhouette, like the dark silhouette, is not moving. It's not changing. It's not doing anything. You just hear it coming from that point.
Oh, brother.
He just goes, I can't, and keeps running.
And as you turn around, right in front of you is the face of a man going, help! And you wake up. It looked like a regular ass man, short brown hair, just looked like he hasn't eaten in days. Like, he just looked skinny as hell. Roll me an idea check. Would you like to roll me a sanity check?
No.
No. Hey, Jared, no, I wouldn't.
Hey.
Cool. Most of it's fading as a dream. The details are starting to slip, and you look at the clock, the alarm went off.
Okay.
The reason you had this sort of mid-dream point is because you only started to sleep at the end point of the night, and this was like right in the middle of a dream, something woke you up, and that's why you could actually remember even this level of detail. There's probably more things happening before that, but the more you start thinking on it, the more it fades. But the only thing that sticks around is that face, is that person. If you couldn't be mistaken, like if you really thought on it, you think that looked a lot like the dude who was smiling and waving, just not as messed up.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think Everett probably makes that connection and is very shaken because he's never seen Andrew before.
1 point of sanity damage.
Yeah. Scientifically speaking, you can only dream faces you have seen before. He's never seen Andrew before.
Yep.
I hate it. You're fine, Phoebe. You don't have to go to sleep after this.
That's true. I have a whole day ahead of me.
Exactly. The light keeps away the devils.
Fab's loving this. I'm just like, hey guys, we're sleeping and dreams and... So, good night's rest helps a lot. The nerves are still a little shaken, but the body's definitely feeling a lot better. Breakfast helps. What do you guys want to do with your morning? Oh, actually, before we go any further, in the morning, the doctor would get a call.
I would still like to go back to last night, though.
Okay.
I want to make some sort of roll on how I proceed through this night.
Go for it.
Let me just take sanity for good measure.
Really? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that?
This means I'll take cocaine all night and don't sleep at all.
Oh, goody.
Holy
Fantastic.
Oh.
It's the 20s, man. That was the wonder drug to fix everything.
Yeah. And by that, you just just had a bottle of Coca-Cola, right?
I thought that
At this point,
response. once was just to do cocaine and eventually pass out. But I thought, no, he's a man of reason and logic. He's gonna try
Not the doctor.
and push through with that. The doctor's seen
Apparently
too much.
not
The
the
doctor's
doctor.
taken too much sanity damage.
Remember as well, with every success on your skills, tick off that you've succeeded.
Oh shit, yeah.
100. I need you to make me a constitution check to see how well you're going to be dealing with this the day after. And I want to say, without sleep as well, it's a hard check.
Oh, not well.
Buddy.
Jittery. So any physical, like mental stuff is okay. Any physical activity is automatically upgraded to hard. And because you failed, you're tired as well. You also have a penalty dice to that. So you're not going to be doing anything physical, basically. Like, you're going to try it, but you're going to fail. On the plus side, cocaine does have its one advantage. 3 times a day, you can get a bonus dice on a mental check because you're piecing things together a lot quicker.
Quick, everyone, let's do cocaine.
Look, there's some good sides. It's just there's a shit ton of downsides. Because funny enough, guess what dodging is?
Heck.
Exactly. But I'm not good at dodging anyways.
No,
So as soon as the bean opens, he will be going to the bean and have breakfast and be sitting there with sunglasses.
Like you sort of like before you're about to walk out of the house, like you can actually hear your phone sort of go off. Also, I love those sunnies. Oh my god.
I answered the phone.
Is that Dr. Beck?
Yes.
It's Patrick Devlin. You gave me a card the other night.
Oh yes. I did.
I just thought it'd be a good idea to maybe, pass my number on to you, just in case you want to call me back or something.
That is very nice of you.
He sort of passes that number and he says, how's going the investigation? Have you spoken to Andrea yet?
No, we were engaged otherwise. Yesterday evening, we were probably doing this today. We didn't want to disturb her too late.
It's good to hear. I just want to check something. It's funny enough, you guys made this guy an important enough NPC. I thought I'd stat him out.
Yay!
So over the phone,
Good old Patty.
over the phone, he's going to roll a psychology roll.
Or should I say Patrick?
Heyo. Hey, why is he so good at everything? I love him.
What the hell? And just over the phone, because he's used to hearing the sound of coked up buggers. It's like
He can hear you gunning.
You can hear go. And he goes,
Oh my god.
"You all right? You sound like you didn't get much sleep last night."
It was a very long night.
All right. Just be careful, all right? You gotta look out for those other two, especially Ophelia.
I will do my very best.
Tobias is like trying to hold it together.
All right, and he closes the phone. But you can hear from his voice, he could see through that straight away. But you're like,
Oh my god.
how did he get an extreme success?
That's amazing.
I love Patrick so much.
He is bae.
Oh, fantastic.
He's the best character in the game. If you're gonna kill him probably, and I'm gonna cry.
It is Call of Cthulhu.
Why would you say that? Why would I stat out an NPC only to kill him? That's not my style.
You're lying. You're a liar.
Yeah, I think I can roll a psychology check on you and then tell that you were lying.
To be fair, I actually came up with a pretty decent photo for what I think this guy's supposed to. So I'll send this to the Discord.
Cutie.
Oh, he's so old.
Because he's late 40s, but physique of a
So
30-year-old.
old.
Like,
Oh my gosh.
oh no, seriously,
Okay.
he's got
That is
he's
the
got
face
more
of
hit
someone
points.
Much older than 40. Are you kidding me?
50. Like the years have not been good to him.
Alright.
Like I said, late 40s.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. but like he's got a strength of 80 and a con of 75. He's got
Fucking
15.
ripped.
He's got 15 hit points at like
Heck.
in mid 50s. Like
Lord.
the only downside he got was a bit of his appearance started dropping as he got older.
It happens to the best of us.
Oh, you should have seen him 20 years ago. No, I'm kidding. So it's meant to be the coffee shop, the choice of our investigators. One by one, you guys sort of come there, and
I'm
they
literally
really
there,
shouldn't
not
be,
open the
but
door.
they're giving you coffee, like, like
all
modern Jared's having a heart attack at the idea of you having no sleep, cocaine, and now caffeine.
I will add eggs to that.
Nice.
Something, protein, good.
Could before I go to the it's meant to beam, could I give my good old pal Hesperbert a call?
Sure.
And well, yeah, I'd like to call her and inquire about a car.
And she sort of responds to the phone. A car, my dear? What do you want a car for?
Well, it seems we've come across a couple of ne'er-do-wells in the night, and I just want to ensure that, well, we can ensure our safety during the nighttime.
Oh, I see. You want my special boy to drive you around? That's fine. I'll be staying here most of the day. I'm just distraught. Andrew's not been seen. I cannot go outside like in this state. The jitters are getting to me.
Of course,
Of course,
dear,
of
you
course.
look after yourself. I promise we're getting close. We've got many a lead. And she's telling herself.
All right, well, I'll send Frederick over with the car.
She's like, oh,
Now, you look
okay.
after him. He's a good boy.
Oh, I always do, Hesperbert.
Yeah, she calls him Frederick. His name is Federico.
Federico, enjoy it.
She likes to Englishify his name, being that she's German descent.
Russian, German,
American.
Prussian.
It's fine.
Cool. And then I'll head over to It's meant to be.
Are you taking a car there, or were you just walking over?
Well,
Maybe
no,
it'd be easier if you
I'll walk there
walked, to be
and
honest.
just say, that's where the driver could meet us in, I don't know, I'll say like an hour or two.
Okay. So coffee and breakfast is served to you guys. It's a nice feeling. Can you two just roll me a spot hidden check on the doctor just to see how he's doing?
Sure.
He's obviously in not of a good state.
Oh dear.
And you can see it very well.
You guys have seen, like, one of you's probably figured it out by now, but the other one probably hasn't. Like, he gets like this sometimes, and you don't know why, but you feel like he's on something because it doesn't look like he's had much sleep.
I mean, the thing is, Everett is an academic, and that sure was the drug of choice of academics. So he, even if he does not partake himself particularly often, probably has a couple coworkers who are literally just always high on cocaine. So he's probably
Just like,
well
it's
acquainted.
fine.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, if anything in this age, it's sort of like endemic of like the situation. It's almost more of a recognition. It's like, oh, he just needed to pick me up.
Mhm.
Okay, like it'd be the same as like someone getting like an injury and then they show up with a bottle of like painkillers. You're like, that makes sense.
Mhm.
I think I'll,
Like you
I'll
can see that he's clearly needing to pick me up a lot more today. You can tell that there's a bigger gap today, basically.
Yeah.
I'm
think
so happy
whilst we're
someone's
munching on the
high on
food.
cocaine in my game.
I love
This
it.
is amazing. This is the first time anyone's been high on cocaine in one of my games. And it makes so much sense. I'm so happy.
It's usually the laudanum in Call of Cthulhu games
That's the one. Yeah.
because it mechanically actually dampens sanity damage.
We
So that's
had
what players
Lord
draw with.
we had someone getting addicted to alcohol, and they basically had to go to every single house that they were going to, and they couldn't be without alcohol. So at one point, they found the 1920s equivalent of Listerine, like mouthwash.
Oh dear.
But back then, that stuff was like mega strength alcohol, and they started chugging it, and I'm like,
80% ethanol.
Your life is going great when you fail your con roll, you're crying and puking in a bathtub with 80% ethanol in your hand, just going, "Ugh."
Sorry, that isn't your normal Saturdays? Ooh, should look at my life.
Oh.
Hey, Nadine, are you okay?
I'm kidding, 100% kidding. She says sipping on a
Some
gin.
cocaine.
That's so funny.
All right, so the paper sort of comes out to you. Not really a roll required because you guys are sort of steeped in this now. There's a few more cases coming in of people sort of not waking up this morning. They've just fallen asleep, and actually that wouldn't be in the papers, would it? It'd just be there's whispered like hearsay in the cafe, like people are actually coming in being like, Jerry, he's not waking up, sort of thing. And there's a few cases of like 2 or 3 people concerned.
That would lead me to suddenly burst off the table and go to the phone that is probably somewhere, I imagine, on the way to the restrooms or something.
Just jumps up straight away.
Just scuttle there. And call in my office, actually, and inquire as to if all the patients are asleep now in the hospital, which I highly think is what's going to be happening.
Response you get back from your office is that a few more have fallen asleep, except for your friend. He woke up. So you've had another 2, like you probably got like 20, 30 patients. 2 more have fallen asleep and haven't woken up, but he got back up.
Huh.
Again, he was just asking for more paint supplies.
I tell them we should to get them to him.
Yes, doctor. And then they hang up the phone.
Meanwhile, I'm scraping the eggs off of Tobias's plate onto my plate. If he's going to leave like that, then I'm just going to take his eggs. There's no point wasting them.
He's high. He won't notice. He's like, wow, I was hungrier than I thought. Alrighty.
And then I come back, we gotta stop by my office sometime.
Okay.
So, you guys walk outside of the it's meant to be. Standing there is a rather attractive male who has the car ready to go, and as he opens like the door, there's just like a sound of like flamenco guitar. As he just sort of opens the doors and says, "Your valet today."
Don't say I ever treat you badly, boys. And
Hepzibah sends her regards.
Thank you, Fred. Your name? Sorry, I mistake myself.
Federico.
Federico. Very nice to meet you. And then I'll walk into I'll squish my way into the car.
So I don't have to roleplay him the whole time. He's just your driver now. He's driving you around. He is the MVP. He will win this.
He's the real MVP.
Oh, if you keep interacting, if he keeps succeeding at roles, like he'll start having stats. Like
Yes.
He'll pull out a
Everett
sword
is
cane and
just
like fight off the monsters.
Big gay panic at this hot man. Just
Like-
big gay panic.
It's hot in here.
Yeah, his whole face is just totally flushed red. He can't handle it.
Everett, pick your mouth up off the floor and get in the car.
Like, horrifying Eldritch Dream Demon right in front of him. That's fine. Let's have a conversation. Hot man? Hot man? What? No.
Words can. Maybe.
Not a 1.
I'm curious, actually.
Oh no.
Oh my god. No. That's impossible.
What?
Has he got like 100 attractiveness? 100 appearance?
I'm taking a photo just so you know, but that was 666.
Dang.
He is the most
Great.
attractive male he could possibly be. He has an attractive appearance score of 90.
You're damn right he is.
There we
And
go.
Everett is panicking over it.
Even like a dude walking down the street on the opposite street with his
goes,
wife is kind of like, my goodness.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's honestly perfect. I
I
love
was just
this.
curious. I'm gonna roll this 666. Great. Federico with his amazing appearance.
Amazing.
Alrighty.
I
So,
mean, that face plate.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Yeah.
This
Comes in
guy,
handy.
Luke Pascal.
Yep. Luke Pascalinino. I said it.
Just every time, it's just.
Pascalinino.
It's good.
Luke Pascal.
Luke Pascal.
Alright,
Oh,
so
what?
where are
Over
you
there.
guys going to first then?
I think.
Where do you guys want?
Probably heading towards Andrew.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Oh, or do you want to swing by your office first?
For a second, I heard
yeah.
For a second, I thought you said Andrew. I'm like.
Oh yeah,
Really an
yeah.
option,
Just,
right?
No, we're
just,
just yeah.
Jared, if we could just head over to where
We would have to
Andrew
go
is.
to sleep for that.
Insanity. You can do it. Just go through your dreams.
Right. Fab.
Let's just
Alrighty.
swing by the office first, I would say.
No worries. To the doctor's office.
It's probably closer.
Oh yeah, easily. And you sort of walk inside. You get a few questions here and there. Some of them, like the nurses don't ask, but like some of the orderlies, like the men, sort of ask, well, "What's she doing here?" As they look at her.
Oh, just ruining your day, boys. Keep it in your pants.
Poppycock, poppycock.
Wow. I love her so much.
And they just like walk.
I smile pleased at that.
They just, like the jowls just continue.
They're still moving whilst they've stopped.
Pretty much, they stop and just. Your entire staffing of orderlies is just Winston Churchill. They go outside and have a Cuban cigar.
Good.
So Hilliard Black, the patient Black, is in his room again, and he's not painting now, he's writing. He's sitting on a chair with a little table stool next to him. He's just looking out the window again. Doctor, is that you?
Yes, yes. How are you doing today? I hear you're awake again.
You're going to be like talking to your patient high as balls.
Amazing.
It's going to be awesome.
Well, he knows me, so this is not as bad.
Fair enough, that's very fair. He's like, can you fix me? Nah, he won't say that. But he'll sort of turn around, he's got a big smile on his face. He's like, ooh, friends, come into my room? And he just keeps writing.
This is Ophelia and Everett, associates of mine. We are actually looking into a rather weird affair together. But I wanted to come and check in on you, because I wouldn't think you being awake, you fell into a mildly comatose sleep.
Oh, I was just tired. It happens. I get exhausted when you're working as hard as I am, and you can see he's been writing stacks of pages. You just get into a zone and you forget that you haven't eaten for the day, and the sleep catches up on you, and you just sort of gotta pass out a little bit. That's all it was, Doctor. Just exhaustion. Roll me a psychology roll.
dear.
I fail.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
Can I read what you're writing?
Oh no. This is personal. This is a novel. It's not done yet. It's still in its first draft phases. Now, Ophelia, with a keen eye that you've got, you can roll spot hidden.
Let's try it out. A hard success.
Heyo.
Roll me an education roll.
Oh, that thing I'm good at. Oh, sick.
Heyo.
You don't see much English on that page. It's a lot of mathematics, but there's a few sputterings of like different like symbols and signs and all that stuff. And it's small font, like you can only really see this now you're like cluing into it. But whatever it is, it's not a novel. But like as he says that, he kind of like picks up his stuff and like turns it over because he's like clearly embarrassed at this point.
Okay. I think Ophelia's gonna take out a little notepad from her jacket, kind of one that she would just normally have, and just kind of perch on a table and kind of mutter to herself, oh, no, that can't be it. Hilliard, you sorry, do you mind if I refer to you as your first name?
I'm a patient. Hilliard is fine. I'm not Mr. Blacken here.
Very well. You wouldn't happen to be a mathematics whiz? I've been trying to do this equation for so long, and I've just... Well, me being a woman, I'm not very educated. Just leaning into
I've
that
dabbled. I've dabbled quite hard in many a form of education, yes.
You have? How interesting. Please, do go on.
In another life, I was a professor. I've seen many things of this world, and I like to read. Reading takes me places that this body can't.
Of course, I can...
When you're stuck in a room like this, I can draw, I can write, I can read, but that's sadly as far as I can go now that I'm... He looks over at the doctor and says, a patient.
I think she'll kind of do like an awkward chuckle, like, of course. You wouldn't know anything about the, perhaps Greek history, ancient Greek history, or anything other like?
He needs to roll.
She'll mumble something about crosswords.
Crosswords. Bits and pieces. Why do you ask?
Oh, I've just kind of been asking everyone I can, possibly. These two bumbling fools don't know anything.
It's quite a...
Everett's head just whips up and he looks deeply offended considering he's a professor of archaeology with a specialization in Greece.
He looks at you, Ophelia, and he goes, quite a weird thing to bring up with strangers, but I'll buy it.
I think this is an acceptable place to be weird, don't you think?
Yes, but I'm a patient. You're a visitor.
Well, they haven't caught me yet.
Should you be in here, doctor? Should you detain this lady? Is she on the fritz? Should I be concerned now?
No, you'll be
He just
fine. You'll be
looks at
fine.
you.
I'll want to look at... Did he do any more paintings since the last time?
There is one more painting. This one's actually a lot more traditional. It is a picture of a city. It's almost like watercolors. It's not like any city you've seen before, but very beautiful. There's like, best I can describe it is just a landscape picture where you can see the tops of like buildings and then a spire that sticks out right in the center. For visual representation, it's Isengard from Lord of the Rings. That spire that sticks out with just a mass of land around it.
How? He'll look at it a little bit closer. Maybe take his sunglasses off. What city is that?
No idea. It just came to me. I get weird images, you know, being insane. It sort of comes to me in pieces.
I love how frank this guy is.
He's just like in the 20s, like especially as well, like for some people when they have nervous breakdowns and they become lucid again, they tend to know if they're told, yeah, you're crazy for this reason. Like when they have their episodes, they're like, oh, I'm having an episode. And then when they're not, it's like, oh yeah, I had an episode. It was really shit. This is what happened. Like at least this guy. Not all cases, just Hilliard. And you get the feeling there's a bit of like, there's some level of humor to it, like with the Doctor and him. There's like a bit of a back and forth, and you can see there's like there's sarcasm to some degree with the friendship. And he sort of outreaches a hand because he's still sitting down. He hasn't really gotten up. He reaches a hand over to Everett and says, "I'm sorry, I didn't actually catch your name."
Yes, I'm Everett Crew. I associate of the good doctor and Ophelia here.
Ah, and you're a professor, I take it, with your demeanor and posture?
Yes, I suppose it's a bit obvious, yes. In fact, archaeology, specializing in ancient Greece.
Ophelia will just call.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Maybe you should talk to Ophelia.
She forgot to ask me about it, so...
I just...
The one person... And he just looks at you, Ophelia, and he looks at Everett and he says, the one person you didn't ask could have actually answered your question.
Yeah, it's very... I'm a woman.
Just pull the woman card.
Exactly.
The vapors!
I think she's gonna like rush over to the painting, kind of be like, "Oh, this is awkward."
Roll me a spot hidden check, Ophelia, because you've got the keen eye for these things, and the Doctor is currently, drugged out of his mind.
He is indeed. That's a success.
Not like the other paintings. Like this is nothing like the other paintings. It's not like there's a creepy thing in the background. No, it's not like that. But there's you can see little figures, like little people, like in this picture. They just look hard to make detail out of. There's a lot of them, probably like a couple thousand, because it's almost like a crowd of them down there. But that's all you can really see.
This is wonderful, Hilliard. I commend you on your talent.
Muse runs through these hands, and you notice as he says that, like his hand has a bit of a twitch to it.
He's also high on cocaine.
That's the answer. All of this is cocaine. Everything's cocaine.
Knew it.
Cocaine for everyone. Cocaine for everyone.
That's how Sigmund Freud did it.
Right.
Just chuck cocaine at them. It'll fix everything. It's your mother. It's your mother.
This is not Call of Cthulhu. This is Call of Cocaine.
Yes. COC? Ah.
It was all cocaine. So is there anything else you guys want to sort of be doing with this guy, or any questions you'd like to ask?
I think I'll be frank and I'll just say, well, okay, I must confess that I asked you whether you knew Greek or not because I spotted that perhaps, on your little novel you were writing something something mathematical or of not English origin.
When you say that, his demeanor shifts and he says, "That is my work, and only for me to see. It's a draft, it's not ready, and you're not supposed to see it. Get out!"
I'm a woman. Okay, I'll say, of course, I'm sorry to have upset you, Hilliard. I simply just have a keen eye. I did not look at anything there.
Get out!
And I'll leave.
Visibly angry at this point. All of you, get out! Get out!
For the orderly.
Orderly runs in, just grabs him to the table. He's like, "No! You can't stop me! You can't stop this form! Stop!"
Does the orderly have him restrained properly? I mean, it's his job.
Orderly's basically like, almost like shoulder check, like holding him to the ground. And the best way I can describe it, so this hand is the orderly, and my other hand is like he's just like flailing as much as he can, like up the top, around the side, like trying to kick out from under him. Orderly's got him pinned down though, like he can't do anything beyond just kicking and screaming.
I grab his papers and motion for more orderlies.
Oh no, the trust is broken.
He'll be very angry about this.
Oh yeah, he.
Oh no.
So you flip around, like as you walk out of the room, you flip over the page and it's gibberish.
Oh no.
Like there's mathematical formula in there as well. Like there's like symbols and geometry and all that stuff. But all of the scrawlings, like you look closer enough now, you thought it was cursive. Nah, gibberish. Absolute gibberish.
Pooh.
Are any
To be
of
fair,
us
that-
good at arithmetic?
Yep.
Like
Does anybody
Right.
have mathematics as a skill?
gibberish.
Mathematics is not an option,
Under one of the sciences.
is it?
Sciences.
I have a 26 in science. That's about it.
I got shit.
Either that or it is a part of an education role, but a hard success.
Hmm.
Yeah, that won't be me. Well, hell, why not?
Yeah, I
Nope.
mean, Everett will try it.
Yeah, we'll all look at this. This seems to be.
Hey!
Yeah. So hard success tells you that
This is Jared
hard
going,
success.
"Oh, I didn't plan any of it." Y'all are
Yeah,
just
Well,
like,
I planned this.
Maybe.
Oh no, I planned this. I just wasn't. Let me put it this way. I planned this. I just didn't expect you to get this. So I'm trying to think how I'd filter the information through the success. Like, there's a seed of potential information here, and you've succeeded at it with education to see the mathematics of it. So I'm trying to figure out like the filter to put on this. If you didn't know any better, you'd say it's all to do with objects, like geometrical shapes interacting with one another. It starts getting a bit theoretical and a bit topsy-turvy at certain points. He's got a picture because it's kind of hard to represent 3D images on a 2D plane. But with a hard success, oh, actually, I need to check when that was discovered because you might actually know that. 1 second.
I was actually thinking, like, oh, did Mr. Black here just invent some sort of advanced mathematic equation?
Let me put it this way. This formula shouldn't exist in the public conscience, like in the mathematical conscience, for another 20 years. Like, you can clearly tell from all the mathematicians you've been around, this shit's advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you didn't think any better, you'd think this guy's like the next Einstein kind of thing.
Okay.
But at the same time, you're not a mathematician. You might just not recognize half of, like, there's a point where the equations stop making sense to you. You're not sure if that's because they're crazy advanced or if your knowledge is lacking.
Right.
And if it was like 30 years later, I would have said, oh, you know it as this. But since that hasn't shown up, then you're not a mathematician, so you can't even like theorize to that.
Well, wherever it works.
Fuck me. Yeah. A university with professors and great.
Uh-huh.
Fantastic.
Sorry, Jared.
You're gonna break another NPC. You're gonna give him something he's not expecting. He's gonna freaking fail his sanity roll and just start freaking out. Go, ah!
The numbers.
What do the numbers mean?
Honestly, that's just me in a math class. That's me trying to do basic math. The numbers. Right. Mental breakdown.
Yeah, you guys can sort of funnel out of the office and out of the room and go to the university if you want.
Well, I mean, I think Everett would kind of communicate what he could glean from these equations, and then just say, if we could make it to the university, perhaps I, could convince one of my colleagues to take a look at this, just to kind of get feedback from the group, because I don't know if we want to go to, what is it, Ariana first, or
Andrea.
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 Sorry guys, can we
split the party?
2-second pause?
Yeah, so we pick up with you guys. We'll sort of fast forward to option is yours. Andrea's first or university first?
Or
actually, I can probably tell you.
Or
either splitting the party as well. Yep. I will say this. Andrea's house, more than likely, is on... Because you're... Wait, what am I saying? You're at the private practice. You're in Center City. University campus is like 2 blocks away. She's in witness protection, so she's probably not in the center of the city. She's like outskirts, like near the water district kind of thing. So
might as well swing past the university then.
I love having like an actual map of this thing to be like, I know what this place actually looks like.
That is helpful. And I feel as though since this is some advanced math, chance it'll take some time for the mathematician to kind of sort things. Even if we just kind of leave stuff with him,
they'll be intrigued, but he'll be like, "Can you leave this to me, please? Like this is blah." All right, time to get fancy. What? Let's look up a name for this dude, bro. Oh wait, no, I've got the catalogue of professors at the University of Miskatonic.
That is also something I have on hand at all times.
What?
I'm kidding. That was total sarcasm.
Look at like the sarcasm. Like I got the sarcasm. I'm just like, I hope you're not sarcastic, because if not, like someone else, yeah. I am an insane person that just has a massive catalog of all these.
Insane
one of them
or wonderful? I think it's the latter.
I have the catalog of every professor at the university and all the things that could be happening in Arkham, Massachusetts.
Ooh.
I don't have that exactly, but I have a similar weird catalog, I have to say.
Nice. So sort of talk amongst yourselves on the drive over, like what you think you have, while I just quickly look this up.
Well, that was certainly an interesting chat.
He'll be very annoyed with me when I see him again.
Well, hopefully he won't remember.
I am most curious about how on earth he came to these conclusions with his writings, and or if they're just utter nonsense and I'm not skilled enough at advanced mathematics to be able to distinguish between what real equations are and what's just the poppycock made up by an insane man.
You'll have to dumb it down for us laymen, what is it that you've found on the on the pieces of paper?
Well, it's a lot of equations leading to geometric forms and things like that. But math just isn't my field. I think there could be something potentially very interesting here. If only I could figure it out. But I will have a good professor of mathematics tell us if this is.
Interesting. So first of all, the other thing I remembered is that looking through this quickly, I need you to make me a luck roll, because this is going to be great if you succeed with this.
Me?
Yes, for Everett. I mean, Ophelia can do it if she really wants.
Oh yeah, definitely win.
That's a success.
So flicking through the pages, you come across one that catches your eye. It is a small... Okay, small's not the right word because you don't have a frame of reference, but it's a contraption. It looks almost like... what would it look like? Almost like a candelabra.
Okay.
Sort of deal, just like all these like shapes and mirrors, and it looks like it goes up to a central point, and there's a what you'd assume is some kind of gemstone at the top, and there's just all these shapes like squares and rectangles and rhomboids all around it, and it just goes all the way down. Actually, no, that's a good description. A mathematician's Christmas tree.
Okay.
Like it's sort of you can see through and see a point that goes up, and just sticking out of it, all these directions are just these squares and rectangles and all that stuff. And then a center point at the top where there's like, the angel, the little gemstone at the top.
Right.
But like all the writing around it is complete gibberish. There's no mathematical equations around this.
Okay.
There's just the gibberish around it. You sort of like look at that and you go, huh, it's cool, but gibberish. So
is it structured gibberish or unstructured gibberish? I mean,
with a hard
a
success,
language I don't understand gibberish, or just gibberish.
if you'd like to, you could roll me a it'd be an English check, and it'd have to be a like extreme success.
Can I roll my own language?
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Just a success.
Hard to say.
Oh, not
I mean,
hell
could
yeah.
I also try?
Yeah, sure. Anyone who's got
Since
your
we're in the
your
car,
language.
here.
Oh yeah, you're like passing it around for sure.
Yeah.
Because you're not driving.
What are the odds I will fail that? That's annoying.
To be fair, like a fail just tells you pictographs, like it's gibberish.
Yeah, no.
Like, and to be fair, it's not hard to assume. You just took these papers off an insane person who,
Oh,
when
for
you tried to
sure.
take them off him, he started screaming, saying, "Give me back my work."
Yeah, no, it's fair. The fact that I have an 80 and I managed to fail it. At least it wasn't not a super important roll. It could have been a lot worse.
I've played games with 92 in a skill and rolled 93 and above for the majority of my rolls.
Heck.
It always happens. But yeah, success at German, so you can tick that one as you might increase in your German by looking at something that's not German.
It just reminds
guys make
me.
your way.
It tells me what it not is.
Pretty much. Hiram Upham, Dr. Hiram Upham, is the doctor of mathematics.
Okay.
Because back then, if you got yourself,
You're
because he's got a
going very
PhD,
robot-y for
so
me, Jared. Just
Am I?
very robot-y. Yeah.
Oh, you're
Body
okay.
problems with Jared.
you're going a little roboty for me.
That. Okay.
One sec, I think I know what's going on. Is that better now?
bit.
Yeah. All good.
It's fine.
So yeah, Dr. Hiram Upham. So Hiram, Hiram Upham. Cool. You recognize him as the head professor of the Department of Mathematics. Oh god, sorry, this is just gonna make... Oh, this makes the fanboy in me scream. So you guys sort of get to the university. You leave the car behind. Federico's like... He's just standing there next to the car, and like there's people just walking past. A few of the ladies like, oh, and he's just standing there, like, the boom, boom,
Gosh.
just getting all the attention. You sort of make your way into the university. You know exactly where you're going. You get to the office, and you sort of knock on the door. One second. The door opens, and it's a much younger man. Hiram Upham is like in his late 40s.
Okay.
You don't recognize this guy. Can I help you?
Yes, I'm looking for Dr. Upham.
Oh, bad timing. He's out of the country, actually. I'm Gilman, Walter Gilman. He puts his hand out.
Everett would shake it. I'm Everett Grimm. I'm an professor here at the university.
Roll me an intelligence check, actually.
Okay.
Oh,
Woof.
woofity woof. Yeah, you got no idea who this guy is. And he says, like, I'm one of his top students. I'm looking after his affairs while he's out of the country.
Indeed. When will he return? Do you have his
Correspondence.
itinerary?
He said 2 weeks. There might be some complications. Complications is his fancy word for he wants to stay in France a bit longer.
Okay. Outside of the conversation, would Everett know of other professors of mathematics at the school? Is it just Hiram?
Just no Hiram. But to be fair, this guy is like, if this guy's saying that he's looking after the stuff in here, like he's probably the next best thing.
No, Hiram would just be preferable, or a professor with the university. But if this is all we've got, Everett
Just don't look into the camera.
would like start to kind of pull out the papers from his bag or wherever they were, and just say, "Well,
1 second.
we've come across some just rather strange equations, and I was wondering if perhaps the doctor, or I suppose in this case you could take a look at them. I was able to figure out some of them, but mathematics is just not my field. Would you?"
Oh, sure, definitely. Let me take a look at it.
I'm not even sure if they're real or just complete and utter nonsense, but I thought, well, I wouldn't know what I...
Let me take a look. Haha, this guy's got stats. I love this book. It's got stats for the professors. So he's got an 85. He's got an 85 in mathematics. That's an extreme success.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, boy. Oh, swiggity biggity baggity bad.
Oh, did I just break this man? Hey, did I just
No.
break another
Well, actually-
NPC?
Oh, that's well
asking
sounded.
them to do my work for me?
They rolled an extreme success. This is what happens when you do this. And like clockwork. That is 1 point different. That is 1 point different than when you gave the frickin' book to Patrick. Like this is a running theme. I'm noticing a theme.
Everett loves to break other people by having them do work.
To be fair, this guy's got a decent sanity actually.
Yeah.
because he's just a mathematician. Cool. Oh wait, no, that was the sound. He already failed. Sorry, what am I saying?
Yeah, here I feel.
So that would be... How much damage is that? I want to say... Okay. He's reading through this stuff, and you can see that he's not really like absorbing all of it. He's just flicking through the pages, and he says, "I'm sorry, where did you get this?"
From a patient at the institution.
Institution. So you say that, like that explains. So, an insane person drew this out.
You're good. Let me see.
Yes. We
No, you're fine.
stole it from him. It wasn't me directly. I just.
And at this point, like he doesn't really wait for a response from you. Like he's very visibly shaken by this. He takes the papers, walks over to the desk, and starts thumbing over them like better. He's just going, and he's looking over and he's going, "This is impossible. This makes no sense, and it makes sense. This is not how mathematics is supposed to work. You can't have an obtuse angle be an acute angle. You can't do." And he looks like he's just... It's like having a little kid told there's no Santa Claus. Like, he's just like visibly almost annoyed by this paperwork, but at the same time, he's just taking it in and just flicking through the pages. Look, this is going to take me... It's going to take me a while to go through. Do you mind leaving this with me?
No, I certainly have gotten all from it that I can. Here, let us give you our telephone numbers, and I'll just come back later.
Thank you.
I think I might need this back at one point.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll make some copies. I'll probably get it back to you. But institution, really? There was someone in the institution was doing advanced. This is insane.
What? Technically, it is.
But it's insane that it could be. It could be
relevant.
right. But no,
Yeah.
the thing is, it could be right. That's the concerning part. And if it does, this blows out everything we think about with mathematics. And he just sort of like
thank you
looks down the
for
papers.
this. We'll be in contact.
Cheers. I'll probably contact you. No offense. I'm gonna find a place to study this. And he starts looking around and goes like, "Who put you up to this?"
What?
Who put you up to this? This is a joke. This has got to be a joke. This can't be real.
Oh, it's I'm afraid rightfully real. I've had the same thought quite a lot recently, but it is.
Well, in that case, it's best that you be leaving the study now. I've got much research to do and many things to grab. And he starts pulling books off the bookshelf, putting it on the table, and says, I guess I'll see you three out. Thank you so much. It'd be gracious for you to come in, and thank you for this paperwork, but must get to work. Bye, gotta go. And he closes the door with you guys on the other side. You walk down the walkway, and then you just hear, "What?"
Great.
As just breaking all the NPCs. So there's
still of sound mind when we return.
yeah. We'll check back in on Walter Gilman later. To be honest.
Okay.
So just like the fanboy that is me, and to anyone that watches this is going to look at this going like, "What did you do?" But we'll check in on Walter later, see how he's doing. And now we get to the fun stuff. Over to Andrea's house. Everybody roll me a spot hidden check on the drive over.
Spot
How late is it by now?
Oh, it's not late at all. It's probably like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
I
Hey!
really fucking failed.
But that means I'm coming down off the cocaine and I'm just tired and filled with a sense of self-loathing that comes when you over dopamine your head.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, what's the point? Why are we even doing this? And now you're gonna go talk to a suspect. Oh, fam, why have you done this to me? With a hard success though, and I love that the drugged out dude is the one that spots this.
No, it's Everett.
No, it's Everett.
Oh, sorry, that's Everett.
Hard success.
Oh no, 85. Yeah, you failed horrendously. Everett, you feel like someone's following you guys,
Oh, not again.
but not like a person in the side alley. As in, like you've got a tail, like someone in a car is following you. They got, Actually, with a hard success, ooh, I need to roll counter stealth. Actually, no, I wouldn't. It would just be a opposed check, and they've got more in the skill. Hard success, succeed. Yeah, you recognize the person who's following you.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's Flanagan.
Like the detective?
Mm-hmm. The one that was getting very pissy at Patrick.
Okay, I think Everett is just gonna go, Frederico, take us somewhere else.
Where to?
Anywhere else, not to the house of
Andrea.
Andrea, not there. We're being tailed.
I will lose them.
Of course you are, you suave, beautiful man, you will.
Hard success.
Excellent.
Let's see how Flanagan goes. Ooh. So Flanagan's not the best driver in the world. That's not a hard success for him. So just compare that. 23 is a hard success for Federico, but 20 is not a hard success for Flanagan.
Hey, Federico is perfect, and I love him.
So
Don't show him many things.
another hour sort of added to your trip. He goes through the industrial burg. He then loops around to the higher district, and then eventually you just see Flanagan get stuck in traffic. Like some people have to catch his attention, and then you lose him. It adds about another 40, 50 minutes to your drive, but eventually you end up at Andrea's, and you feel like you've lost the tail.
Yeah, and I mean, Everett would communicate like it was Flanagan who was following us, and he has no idea why.
I'm asleep when we arrive.
He's like, hey. Quick, give him more cocaine, wake him up again.
Just a quick pump.
Power nap.
Power nap.
With 45, 50 minutes driving around. I'll leave the window sleeping.
Back of the car, you're asleep. Like, you're just... Do you guys want to try and wake him, or do you want to leave him to sleep?
No, I'll light him as I'm going out the car.
Yeah, I think we'll wake him.
I was sleeping on the job, silly man.
You get a groggy slap on the...
I'll get out of the car and stretch everything that probably hurts now.
So, when you come to this region, it's not a house. It's like, almost like a flat complex, like apartments and stuff. There's a staircase that leads up, and there's a few of these like small houses kind of thing. The number that he's given you, you sort of have to loop around the other side of the building, and this region, like these houses look really small. Like there's barely any space to live here, but you know, it's good enough. Mhm. So, who's knocking on the door?
I'll do it.
You're the least threatening.
I'm a woman.
So you knock on the door, and no one comes to the door, but you hear a. Who is it?
My name is Ophelia Cordova. I'm a good friend of Patrick. Detective Patrick. I can't remember his last name.
Roll me a charm. Devlin.
But Detective Patrick Devlin. Charm, was it?
Roll me a charm with an advantage because you mentioned. So.
Extreme.
Hell yeah.
The door cracks.
She falls in
open.
love with me.
She looks at you and it's just like, look at me, look at me. Why are you running? Why are you
Why
running?
are you running?
She just runs off.
Yes.
Now she opens the door and there's just like, actually, 1 second.
Please let her fall in love with me.
I mean, I got a picture of her if you want to see her.
She cute. She cute. I'll wifey her.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
So I like the Careless Whispers starts playing with the saxophone.
Oh, God. I can't imagine how bad that sounded for everyone else.
Yeah, just like two of us just like badly out of sync singing it together. Makes a great radio.
Yeah.
Hey, we might get lucky. It might completely sync up.
Exactly.
I just really doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah, she opens the door and she's a lot less hesitant when you say that. She says, "Are you friends of Detective Devlin?" And she opens the door a bit more. She looks just genuinely scared. And she's like looking at all of you one by one, sizing you up a bit, mostly to be like, if I open this door any further, will I be able to close it again?
We wanted to ask you a few questions regarding your perhaps former best friend. May we come in?
Sure. She opens the door. You see very small housing. It's pretty much a living room, a kitchen, and two small rooms to the side. One of those you assume must be a bedroom, and the other one's got to be a water closet because no shower at this time. You look past the kitchen, there's a table with 3 chairs and a fire escape because you're on the 2nd floor. There's a desk, there's a chair there, there's a little, there's letters with envelope openers, and a small bookshelf that has a very, very sparse collection of books. And she says, "Come in. Can I get you anything? Please close the door and lock it behind you."
Of course, and I'll do so. I'll also call out. I'm okay. Thank you very much. We've been fed and watered already.
And she's sort of just she's not as responsive. She just sort of goes, "Oh, okay," and she doesn't start up the conversation, if that makes sense. She just kind of sits there and just keeps drinking.
I do the detective looking out of the window, move through the blinds after we with anything
Spot
follow us
hidden.
at all.
And you can use your bonus dice as the last bit of your cocaine if you want.
I don't need to.
Sick.
With a quick cursory glance, it doesn't look like anyone's looking up to the building. Most people are just walking about. With a success, you see a little kid look up at you, and you just like sunnies from a shade, and they're just like, you run off. Like in this situation, you're the scary one.
We are.
But don't see anyone.
We are so grateful you allowed us into your home. I know that this is an extremely stressful situation for you. I I hope you don't mind. These are my associates, Everett Grimm, Dr. Everett Grimm, and Dr. Tobias Beck. You're a doctor. You've got a PhD.
I don't.
You don't have a PhD. You're a professor.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Be a
I'm a professor. Haven't completed my PhD yet. It's very embarrassing. I'm 42. I know we don't have to talk about it. Hello, I'm Professor Everett Grimm.
I'll get there one day, Deb.
I'll correct myself and snort. And then I'll say, I hope you don't mind if we could ask you some questions about Olga.
As you say the name Olga, the tea drops out of her hands and sort of like shatters onto the ground. She's like, "Oh, I'm terrible. Oh, goodness me!" And she starts trying to pick it up in pieces. She looks
I'll help her out.
a bit rattled by the whole situation. I'm just gonna make some more tea. Does anyone want some more tea? I'm just gonna make some tea. She walks back there. Anybody would like to roll? Like, don't even have to roll psychology to identify she's freaked out, but psychoanalysis would be one to try and calm her down. Hey, just start hypnotizing her. Yet again, like, even with the downers, even with the fact that you're very tired, you still know the right things to say to get your patients to talk up to you. You say, it's okay, everything's fine, take it at your own pace. We're not wanting to have to question super hard, we're just curious. And she's very receptive. It's got Ophelia with the charms going on and the doctor with the medicine background going on. And she's very receptive to that. She makes another tea. This time she's not shaking as much, like she actually drinks it. And she goes, Olga and I were very close friends. It's a bit hard to explain. I can't really go into it, to be honest. It's just we were very close friends and we enjoyed each other's company a lot. She was a beautiful lady. I was a naive girl. But that's how we met, just running into each other, trying to have some fun. We went many of our days just around. She was more the artist than me. I was just a bit of a dancer. But we had one spot we loved going to, was the Sailors Club. You know, we'd dance there all night, and I'd get a few drinks thrown at me from men who were just trying to have a nice night. I did the right thing of, you know, dancing with them for a while until I got bored and Olga wanted me back at her side again. But that's when we met Zeke. And that's when things started to get a little strange. Zeke liked having special parties, and he invited me and Olga, specifically Olga. He had a thing for her. Those are the times. And you can see her relaxing as she's just, the filter is coming off as she's saying these things. And she says, you have to see it. You don't beat a party like Zeke the Geeks. Party's not the word. I think the more exciting word is orgy. Oh, it was beautiful. Boys, girls, all having fun. And Zeke, 4, 5, 6 times in one night, he'd just be at it. He was non-stop, and Olga loved him for that.
I cover Everett's ears.
She's like, my small child. And then she starts getting away from herself. She starts going to, like, not like detail, but she's just like, first it was me, and then it was Olga, and then it was me and Olga, and it was Olga, me, and Zeke. And it was just, and you just see the look on her face as she stops herself and just blushes a little, going like, oh, where are my manners? I am so sorry. I'm sure you don't want to be hearing about these things.
Please speak candidly. This is a judgment-free zone. Apart from Everett. Everett's a bastard. No, I'm kidding.
Hey now.
As
I know.
Can you
This is
tell
a
me
dream.
what-
I'm so sorry for ruining your game.
you think this is ruining it?
I think whilst Andrea's speaking, I'll kind of note down everything that she's saying, and kind of nod along and not give anything away on my face. Not that I've met Zeke or anything like that just yet.
Okay.
And what?
What about?
Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
So, Doctor, what do you want to say?
That doesn't matter anymore if I would follow her lead.
You speak about
Ophelia?
these orgies as if they are no longer a thing, and obviously with you being in witness protection, there was something that came between yourself and Zeke and Olga, perhaps? Could you go on about that?
Psychology rolls for whoever wants to make them.
It's not me. I don't know shit. Oh, actually, I'll go for it.
Success.
I succeeded as well.
Nice.
Go on, Everett.
Do it.
Everett
10%.
has a 10 in psychology.
10%.
He's just not even. He's not
Natural
even
one. Natural one.
Oh my god. I can't take the risk of a horrible crippling failure.
That's fair. You with a lower skill, there's a more chance you might actually crit fail. So not worth the risk. But take your skills, ladies and gentlemen. You've been succeeding. She sort of starts going into the story because you ask her the right question, and she sort of says, "Not anymore. See, Olga, at our last foray at their place, she went into the back room with him alone, and the next time I saw her, she was covered in blood and was running for the door with me, grabbing my hands. Now, with a regular, you know she's hiding something. With a hard success, you know she's lying. Like that is a flat out lie. Something's very amiss there."
What do you think happened between her and Zeke?
I mean, I wasn't there, so I didn't see, but I assume she did something to him and decided to run. Again, I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Do you think she killed Zeke?
Well, I mean, he's dead. You don't recover from a stab wound like that.
How strange, Andrea. You just said that you weren't there. How would you know that?
I mean, she had her hands in blood, and she was carrying a knife. He's dead.
And what if we were to know that he wasn't?
Impossible. You couldn't survive that. There was a lot of blood, like a lot of blood.
Well, Doctor, I'm sure you've seen many a combat wound. It's amazing what people can come away from.
Speaking of Doctor, can you roll me an idea check? Yeah. Remember last time in the first session when you saw Zeke the Geek and you noticed that there was a very peculiar, massive knife wound that would have been fatal? Yeah, that's the one. Thankfully, you took the sanity damage for that last time, so yay. But she looks confused, and with the hard success and the regular sort of rolling over of the new information, she's looking confused because it looks like she was there to see it, like, and she's puzzled that you're thinking this because she's like, no, he's dead. There's probably rumors out there that he's still alive because he's a mob boss, but no, he's very clearly dead.
Andrea, this, like I said, is a safe place. We want to help you. We don't want to have anyone or anything come to harm you. But we can't do anything unless you tell us the whole truth.
Look, it was just that weird stuff he did with the chickens, okay? He had that small little orb of his, and he'd get out a chicken at the start of the night, and he'd cut into it and spray the blood, and... Alright, it was exciting, okay? Getting blood splattered on you, it was exciting. I can't explain it, but it happened every time, and he just always praised this thing, and she stabbed him, and she took it, and we ran. And she made sure it was a fatal wound. Like, naked dude crawling on the floor in a pile of his own blood. I saw him gurgling, and then we ran.
Okay. Where did you run to?
We hid for a while. There was this guy called Andrew. We hid at his place for a while. But eventually, we didn't really need to hide. Olga was always good at finding a crowd of people. And if you're here from Patrick's help, I'm sure you know about the Silver Knight, and how I was the informant that told everyone about the strange goings-on.
Yes, it seems that mystery and intrigue follows Olga wherever she goes. Can you tell us any more about the Silver Knight?
Look, I was only there for a while. I saw a few of the rituals go on, but eventually it started to turn my stomach. Seeing these people so enamored with her, so in love with her, willing to take their own lives that way, it was not natural. And I lost a stomach for it. I just couldn't take it anymore. Went to the police and tried to get them to stop her, but I'm in witness protection because she's still alive out there somewhere.
Now, you said they took their own lives for Olga.
Exactly.
Why?
She was never all there. She was very eccentric. She had these weird ideas, and she always was right. She always had to be right. And when she was right, others were wrong. And when she was right, it was always about this promise that she made as a child. I don't know. She just confused me, and just... Look, when you're with someone that confident, it can be exciting until you start noticing that it can be scary. I'm hiding out here, waiting for the day that door bursts open and she walks in here and takes me back again.
And what makes you think that she would take you?
Because I made a promise and I didn't fulfill it. All of us were supposed to take our lives that night. The Silver Knight. And we didn't.
Including Andrew?
Andrew wasn't a part of that. He was separate. All of us who were a part of this group, we had to give ourselves willingly. Andrew's just the final piece of the puzzle. She's probably waiting for the time to be right again, once a month, for it to, well, actually no, it's twice a month now I think about it.
The Silver Knight?
as she refers to it, the right time for the night to occur. Every 2 weeks.
And when would the next one be?
I mean, wasn't it 2 weeks ago that the Silver Night occurred?
So tonight.
And when you say that, that sort of like dawns on her that this is probably repeating again, and that sort of breaks her spirit a little bit. She sort of like she gets flushed, and just like it all the color sort of fades from her face as that happens, and she's like, "Tonight,
We're here to keep you safe, Andrea. Don't worry now. But in order to do so, we need to know everything. You say that Andrew was meant to be the final piece. The final piece of what?
sacrifice. She has to kill him to succeed at what she's attempting."
And what is it that she's attempting?
Let's see. No, she can't keep it together. She starts crying.
I slap her across the face. Keep it together, woman. No, I'm kidding.
Keep it together. But no, she's like, the question sort of just hits too close, and it just starts making her shake and cry, and she sort of like curls up into a ball, basically.
Okay, I'm gonna push her one more time and say, okay, where was this? Do you know where they would do the Silver Night ritual again? I hate to ask you this, but we must stop Olga.
Charm check.
Okay. Success.
Yes.
She points over to the desk, and then she runs into her bedroom, and you just hear her crying on the bed. She closes the door, like slams it hard.
Heck, I go over to the desk and rifle through what she was
Spot
pointing
hidden.
to. Oh dear. Success!
You find like hidden, there's like a secret compartment behind the door, behind the desk. And inside there is a woman's purse. Now, of course, it's the 1920s. You shun that and you chuck it out the window because no one's supposed to go through a woman's purse.
Nah, stick my nose in it.
Lipstick, a couple of cosmetics, and a journal.
Ooh.
Very old-looking journal. Like, not old, like faded a little bit with age, probably about 10-ish, maybe 15 years old.
So older than Australia?
You got me. You bloody got me.
Okay, cool. I'll open up the journal.
All right. Dates and a running story in this journal. June 30th, 1916, so 10 years ago. Dear Diary, I don't know how to write about it, but my dreams have been so strong the last few nights that I'm actually really scared. It seems that I was in a big cave all filled with glowing lights, and then I heard a voice, a big voice. But it made noise only in my head, like someone else's thoughts were there, racing around inside my skull. I can almost still hear it whispering to me even as I write this. For some reason, I'm afraid. I'm really scared. But it was, after all, only a dream. You flick through a few more pages. August 28th, 1916. Dear Diary, the voices are back again, and I keep hearing the dreams over and over. It says it wants to teach me things, but somehow it makes me just really afraid. I want to tell Mother about it, but somehow I feel she wouldn't understand. Oof. January 28th, 1917. Dear Diary, I tell you, I cannot stand this house. The walls are pounding in on me. I cannot get the dreams about the voice out of my head, and even now I can see that strange cave. I hate my mother, and I wish I could pass from this house into the warm darkness of the ground. June 29th, 1917. The teachers at school seem so amazed by the things I draw. Some of them say I have a real talent and should go to school somewhere to learn how to draw better. I try to tell them that I only draw the things I see in my dreams, but I don't think they really believe me. Mother says the pictures are no good, but I think she's wrong. The voice in my dreams says I could draw better, but that I must get away from here if I want to. I want to leave this house. I really want to. Mr. Matthews says there's a contest coming up in Pittsburgh. The winning entrant will be given an art scholarship to Arkham University. I'm already starting on a picture I think will win. It's got such a nice smile in it. June 30th, 1917. The voice came again last night. It was while I was dreaming. It told me that if I listened and did exactly as it said, I will have everything I wanted in life. For the first time, I've opened my eyes, and then I saw the voice and what it was. It was blurry, so I couldn't see much, but I know that it's awfully big. That toothy grin of a smile. It showed me something I could draw for the contest and told me that if I did a good job, I couldn't help but win. I think the voice really wants me to go to Arkham. I hope it happens. I can't stand my mother much longer. I swear she makes me so mad that sometimes I think I should kill her. I think I'll do it tonight. And Father too. That way I'll be able to go wherever I want to.
Heck.
Sanity checks everyone.
No! Gosh, darn it.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
whatever, guys.
Oh.
Whatever.
What?
Ophelia? 1 point of damage.
Oh my god. Yeah, okay, whatever. Psychoanalyze me, Doc.
In the journal, there is an address to return to for this journal.
Okay.
As you now know, her address.
Ooh.
And that right there is a good spot for us to end the session.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
So,
Marvelous.
what are you guys thinking? You liking the stinger of the...
Yeah. Yo.
My absolute favorite thing to do is read creepy-ass journal entries. I freaking love them. They are my favorite thing to do when I'm running these adventures.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's very good.
I just love it. It's like the toothy grin, the smile in her dreams.
For me, it was I think stop that.
Oh my god, stop. I'm gonna hang up the call.
No, we need to
Now.
say bye to the stream, and then you'll do that.
Yeah.
Well, first things first, let's roll some improvement rolls to see if you guys improved your skill.
Yeah.
You roll the one
So-
that you succeeded in, and then if you
So-
succeed, you do 1d10.
So you roll it again, you want to fail.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, fail.
Oh, I
Hey!
Oh, whatever.
And... But, all right, so I get to roll for both of them.
Oh
Mhm.
my god.
Now you're
Ow.
really good.
Okay, I can do nothing.
Tragic. Okay, my first D10 is going to be for listen. It's an 8. Awesome.
Whoa.
Whoa.
My next D10 will be for spot hidden. 5. Awesome.
Nice.
Take it.
That's awesome.
That.
Listen goes up to 28. Nice.
Spot hidden, what was that? 5? Okay.
Haha, succeeding everything.
Oh,
More
boo.
improvements for me, but I'm too good at these things already. Except for spot
Yeah, and
hidden,
language
wanna-
check. Yep. To be fair,
Yeah,
those are
my
all
other
decently high
successes
stats to
were
work
like
with.
characteristic roles, not things I can actually improve. So.
Luck checks for everyone as well, because you can improve your luck.
Ooh.
Oh,
Come on,
so just
fail.
roll luck and
Oh man.
Oh, wow.
Yes. D10 for Ophelia.
Yay.
You've gone over 20.
Look at me
About
go.
time.
You'll be considered a novice with luck.
Yay. I try, guys, okay?
Yeah, you're doing well.
Good. That's good.
1 point off of breaking point. But to be fair,
I know.
on the plus side, your breaking point has now shifted because you got a long night's rest. It's every night that happens. So you actually, like, for now, let me just double check. What's your sanity at right now?
32, and I'm right now at 33. I am
Okay.
1 point from breaking.
Yay.
The breaking point changes actually because you've had a night's rest.
Sick. What is it now?
So mine doesn't because I didn't.
Nope.
Shit.
So you were at 33. You started. Did you have any? Did you fail? Did you lose any other sanity today, or was it just that one there? It was just
I
that
think-
one there because you had the.
I did.
4
I
damage
had a
the night
4
before,
and then
yep.
and then a 1. Yeah.
Yep. So you were at 34. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1/5 of 34. Round down. You can go 6 lower before you, and you're currently
Yay.
1 point closer. So 5 more, and then you hit a breaking point.
Woohoo.
So
Make
you
a-
took
make a note of that.
Insane before you.
Most likely. So when you've had a long rest, wherever your current sanity is at, divide that by 5, round it down. That's your new breaking point.
Guys, you gotta
Sadly.
get into bed.
Oh yeah, you haven't slept yet. You're still at mental state of breaking point. Yeah. Yikes.
Oh dear.
It's fine. Just look at creepy stuff. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Right, before
But I
we
love
end the
that we
stream,
got-
so we say a few things that we really enjoyed this session. Starting with Fab, go for it.
I really enjoyed our wonderful interrogation. You played ball really well. That was really.
Sweet beans.
No, I definitely agree with that one. Yeah. That was good work on both your parts. Just like coaxing all the right information out.
And Everett Street.
That was really cool.
My what?
Your dream.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that your favorite, Phoebe? Was that your favorite?
No, I really enjoyed almost breaking another NPC. I think that's a fun trend.
I'm hoping
And
this
I
is a
just-
recurring theme.
I thought Tobias being high on cocaine was excellent, and I really loved Ophelia kind of playing up the "oh, I'm a woman" thing to her advantage. I think that was excellent.
Amazing.
I at the beginning that scary interaction with the creepy smiler. I didn't need that in my life, but I needed that in my life.
Yeah.
And just Everett being like, "Hi," and then bowing to him. I think it's definitely on top. That was brilliant. And yes, of course, our good old doctor just being like, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine."
Just cocaining up like crazy.
Did my audio just change?
You can still hear
Because
you.
I had a weird thing here.
Oh.
Seems I was on the wrong mic.
I
Oh,
don't
you
know.
like this was your laptop the whole time.
I'm wondering if this was the cam mic the whole time. That actually doesn't seem right though.
No,
I
you're coming
switched
through
it.
pretty clear though, so it's fine.
Yeah, you come through the
now
same.
I'm on the head. Now I'm coming through the same. That is the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, good. Well,
Trying to think what was a good spot for me, like, because there's so many good ones. Like, I think it's a toss-up really between the two of them. It's got to be Everett just giving this like crazy stuff to another person and making them freak out. Yeah.
Everett needs to stop breaking
just-
our NPCs.
Here's another one. But no, I just loved Ophelia being like, "I'm just a woman." What did I know? I'm like, "Oh, that's brilliant."
you gotta work
So-
with what you got with.
So, fun factoid. Fab, have you read Dreams in the Witch House?
I have.
What's the name of the main protagonist in that storyline?
I do not know, actually.
Walter Gilman.
Did I just immediately walk up to the protagonist in like a very iconic
So,
story and instantly break him?
I'm going to give you some homework.
Oh,
If
no.
you want to, it's not mandatory. Read the short story. Then you'll understand that we won't see Walter Gilman, like we won't like check in on him again until like after this adventure. We'll like check in a few months later, kind of thing. Because you may or may not have just kickstarted that short story.
Heck.
Interesting. Okay.
So you can read that and sort of know that that's sort of the stuff that was in that paperwork that you're doing with. Everett won't know that, but Phoebe does.
Okay. Interesting.
Cool beans.
And
Nice.
but I just got really happy to be able to say like my favorite line from that is like, the obtuse is an acute, the acute is an obtuse. What? And he's freaking out. So
Nice.
hope you enjoy that one.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys, for another amazing session. I'm sure we're going to be chatting about it for a little bit more, but time to say goodbye until next time, which I hope will be soon. And yeah, thank you very much for being here. So, see ya. Bye.
Bye.